Hello then, and welcome along to the final week of this TGP1 season. It's been a thrilling season, and the championships are all but decided, so we're just racing tonight for the pride. We've got two fantastic races coming up to you tonight at the fantastic circuits of Silverstone and off to Austria to the Red Bull Ring. So we should have two very entertaining races for you tonight. We've almost got a full grid. We've got 19 drivers on track. We've had 24 drivers race this week over the 11 weeks that we have had, and we've had 20 so far. Fantastic races. Hopefully we will have two more tonight. I'm joined as ever in the commentary box by Dom Smith. Dom, good evening.
Good evening, Mike. Great to be alongside you for the final time this season. It's the final bit of racing on this game, isn't it, for TGP1? We've still got another season of TGP2 to come. But yeah, tonight is the final night, and there is still, of course, the constructors' battle between AlphaTauri and Racing Point. 23 points is the difference, but it's Racing Point with the edge for now. But in qualifying, Corey gradually quicker than Softy, and Corey just starting his final run now.
Yep, Softy in the pits as well. He might just get enough time to turn his car around for one more run. Let's give you a quick rundown of the order that we've got so far. The man we're riding on board with at the moment, Corey, your provisional pole sitter, but only by 25 thousandths of a second, so not very much difference between our top two for now. We've got Softy at the moment joining him on the front row, but it doesn't look like he's going to be getting out for another run. We'll keep an eye on that. He is leaving the pits at the moment, so we might just squeeze one in. Aidan Griffins is in P3 at the moment, and he will not be going any quicker. He has pulled his car to the side of the track, and he will be no better than third. Dan the man in the pits. He's going to struggle to get one more run in fourth at the moment. CJH up there in fifth at the moment with Jack Hickey. Second in the championship so far, Jack. And he's on an outlap, but he's down in sixth at the moment. Johners and Alistair is an all Renault fourth row. And then we've got Phil Bardwell and Paul McGuinness rounding out the top 10. But Dom, Corey seems to be on a good enough lap, but he's finding time.
Yeah, it's looking good, isn't it? We know Softy can find another 10th or two, so Corey does need to improve on this lap if he is to beat Softy. Softy is now on an outlap, so should get round just in time. He'll probably be one of the last drivers to cross the line, but Corey, so far, a 10th and a half up, and just two more corners to negotiate.
Yep, not very long now to go for Corey. Is he going to extend his gap even more at the front of the field? He crosses the line, and he does on a 24-0. Wow, that's a bit of a gauntlet laid down for everyone else. Can anyone get into the 23s? Because there's not very much of a margin in the 24s for anyone to beat Corey at this stage. Alistair has retired from the session. He is going no quicker than P8, but I think he'll be relatively pleased with that. Softy with 30 seconds to go is just coming onto the hangar straight. Dan the man just behind him. Dan's running it incredibly close, but I think Softy's going to be okay, Dom. Who have we got on laps at the moment? Jack Hickey is just wiggling his way through Maggots and Beckett and about to eject himself onto the hangar straight. Jack Hickey at the moment is finding about half a second, and he could put Softy's P2 under pressure at this rate. Softy has just crossed the line to start another lap. Dan the man will be the next one to watch out for. I'm looking out my commentary box window now, and he just about does it. God blimey. Dan the man cutting it fine. But here's Jack Hickey then. Round the final couple of corners. Is this going to be improvement on 6? It is! It's P2 for the Racing Point driver. Crucial for the Constructors' Championship, and a great lap from him. You have to say finding half a second, over half a second, to put himself up into P2. Liam Robbo in the Haas has just put his car into P4 as well, so a good session for him. Meanwhile, we're watching Softy then. Can he improve on P3? Dom, how's his first sector been?
It's it. It's over. Softy will not improve. According to my screen, it's gone red. So Softy's session is done. He did get a toe from Owen, found about a 10th from it, but it doesn't matter because he's invalidated. He starts no higher than third, so I think it's time to see what Dan the man and CJH could do. CJH coming round the final sector now. The McLaren driver will want to get inside the top 3 rows. He needs to find 2 tenths, and he could be starting 4th. This has been a good season for CJH. Can he finish it in style tonight? Round the final corner now here at Silverstone. Where can he put that McLaren? He goes 7th. Doesn't quite go where he wants to, but still a good qualifying from him.
Dan the man's just gone purple in sector number 2. It was getting a tow from Softy's car as well. It might have hindered him a little bit because of how slow it was going. Softy really didn't want to be giving Dan very much of a tow because Dan could be threatening his P3 slot on the grid. Dan the man, he was finding time in the middle sector, but he must have lost a bit of time in the first sector. How has his third sector been? To the line, the Ferrari driver comes, and it's not an improvement. Disaster for Dan the man, but he's still up in 6th place and better off than his teammate, Dom.
Happy with that, to be at least ahead of his teammate Paul, just outside the top 10, so we'll get a clean set of tyres for the race, as will everyone from 11th downwards. But Corey, what a lap. That's only his second pole of the season. Got his first back at the Hungaroring. The former champion finding pace at the very end of the season, of course, was second in both races last week. So Corey, what a lap, a 1:24.0, a tenth quicker than Jack Hickey. What a lap.
Yep, fantastic stuff from the Alfa Romeo driver. You said only his second pole position of the season. He took plenty last season as Matt Tibos made his way to the title. Corey would have been hoping for more of a challenge this season, but unfortunately just hasn't quite happened for him, lacking that consistency. He put a great performance in last week, you have to say, in Mexico to take that P2 slot. But he'll be hoping to sign off in style. As said, a lot of pride at stake tonight. So let's give you a rundown of the grid. Corey on pole, as we said, from Jack Hickey, joining him on the front row. Softy in P3 with Liam Robbo in P4. Aidan Griffins and Dan the Man occupying row 3 with CJH and John as 7th and 8th. And I missed 9th and 10th, actually. I thought I might have remembered them. Did you catch them, Dom?
Who was it? So Paul was 11th. He was just outside the top 10.
Phil Barger was 10th.
Phil 10th?
There you go. Yeah, Phil Bargewell. Yeah. So, it's dry for the race. We're not expecting any rain, I wouldn't have thought, unless my weather forecast is wildly wrong. And we look forward to what could be a very interesting race. We got, I don't want to say a mixed-up grid, because it isn't. But, you know, we've got a couple of drivers out of position, you have to say, Dom. Obviously, Softy in P3, he's got a bit of ground to do. And you have to say, actually, Phil Bargewell and Dan the Man probably out of position as well.
Yeah, the Ferrari's going to be cutting through the field, I think, on the opening lap. Softy's had the best starts when it's come to grid starts this season so far. So watch him into turns 1, of course, down that long straight. But yeah, it's all to play for, I think. And Corey crucially needs to stay ahead of Jack Hickey into turn 1.
Yep, well, we've got 5th and 2nd in the championship on the front row of the race. So here we go. We've got 3, 4, 5 lights in Silverstone, and we're lights out, and they're underway, and it's a good start from the front row. Dan the Man making moves further back as well, trying to see if he can pull alongside one of the Hasses further back. Softy's trying to go around the outside of Jack Hickman, and at the moment, he's making it work. Jack Hickman, is he going to hold it to the second corner? But we've got Liam Robbo diving up the inside. There may have been contact, and he's dropped back a little bit because of it, and someone else who's dropped back is Jack Hickey. He's lost ground to Softy, but it's a great start for Corey, but he's going to have to be watching his mirrors for Softy on the run down the Wellington Straight.
Aidan's gone off. He's gone off the road. He's down to about 11th, 12th position now, almost Kid Raikkonen from a few years ago. And J-Luke's now spinning round 2, but a disastrous start for the Racing Points because Softy has cleared both of them, which puts advantage AlphaTauri.
Oh, and Liam Robbo nearly lost it coming in to Woodfield. I can't remember the call there, but they're on the way to Stowe. Oh, there's a huge accident, and Dan the Man has ended up in the wall. Liam Robbo is out as well. Disaster for the Ferrari powered cars. We've got a virtual safety car. We've got Liam Robbo out. It was a great qualifying. It was an aggressive opening lap, but now he finds himself without 4 wheels on his wagon and at the back of the pecking order.
We've had such clean lap 1s throughout the season, but the handbags are out for the final week because that was a scruffy lap 1, I have to say. You had Aidan going off in the Racing Point, an incident between Liam Robbo and Dan the Man. Already a casualty from this race on the opening lap. Not what either driver needed. But Softy, it was another fantastic start from the AlphaTauri driver. He does it so well. What's he doing? But right now on the tail of Corey's, we go racing again.
Yeah, we're going green, and Phil Bargewell was looking at making a move up the inside of court, and I think he got the move done. Perhaps with all the chaos going on, Phil not making the start he would have wanted. A man who has had a very difficult start, as you said there, Aidan. He's in the pits, Dom. In the pits. Disaster for Racing Point. And we've got Ginger Andy getting all squirrely coming out of turn number 1 as well, and that leaves him under pressure from Jordan, who's going to try and go around the outside into Village. And as they head back now through the left-hander and onto the Wellington Straight once again, Jordan gets the move done.
Yeah, this is a track Jordan really likes, really impressed in TGP2 last season, and he's going to come straight back at him, I feel. But Jordan has some strong pace here, didn't quite get a lap in qualifying, but unfortunately for him, he's now finding himself up through the field. We've got Aidan now on the medium tyres, so he has gone to the mediums. It's going to be a long run on them to the end of the race.
Yep, and you mentioned there, the tyre wear is a big issue around here, and someone who's using plenty of his tyres at the moment is Softcop, our 6-time TGP1 champion, putting pressure on Corey, the man, as we said, 5th in the standings at the moment, could, if he has a very good evening, go up as high as third in the season-ending standings. Someone else who's putting a driver under a lot of pressure at the moment, CJH, look at him all over the back of Jack Hickey. It's a disastrous night so far for Racing Point. They're going backwards, and they could be going even further. Their main driver, Jack Hickey, wheel to wheel with CJH, who makes a brilliant move around the outside into Stowe. And as they come towards the start-finish straight once again, the McLaren finds himself in P3.
Jack's got to be so careful. He cannot afford to find himself facing the wrong direction. Aiden's scoring no points at the moment, so Racing Point need a driver inside the top 5, and Jack Hickey for now is just doing that, but he hasn't got the pace for him. He's now got to defend from Jonas, who's coming up on also Alistair as well, and Softy now 3/10 behind Corey, and DRS I believe is about to come into play.
Yep, DRS been enabled for this lap. DRS will be enabled on Softy's AlphaTauri, and Corey will be searching his mirrors. They both got relatively equal battery usage at the moment, so that's not going to come into play just yet. But CJH, the McLaren behind, using a bit more than Jack Hickey, and he will be wanting to get as far ahead from that Racing Point as he can, as Dom rightly said there. Jack Hickman very much with a mind towards the Constructors' Championship. It is close. It really could go either way between AlphaTauri and Racing Point. And at the moment, we've got Softy in P2 and Jack Hickey in P4. CJH has picked up a penalty. Disastrous for him. Both of McLaren's the only drivers on the track at the moment with a penalty. Interesting to note as well there, Dom, actually. Dan the Man did pick up a 5-second penalty for that incident on lap 1 with Liam Robbo, but he was able to serve it in the pit stops.
Okay, that's good. So he'll be hoping for a safety car then to bunch up the field later in the race. Jordan continuing his great progress through the field now, right on the back of Court Jill 5. He'll be wanting to get himself into that top half. There's such a train, isn't there? Behind CJH in third place, behind the McLaren.
Phil
all these cars. Phil
pit.
choosing to pit on lap 3. So going early, maybe trying to get out of this traffic and maybe do an undercut.
Yeah, maybe that he realises that could be his best option to make progress up this field. A safety car isn't usually very common around this this circuit. We do have quite a lot of space off the track, obviously built on the old airfield that was used in World War II. So we have got a lot of space here in the track, which separates, it straddles Nottingham and Buckinghamshire. And the man from Nottinghamshire, Softy, is pressuring our leader, Corey, still.
Yeah, Softy just toying with Corey for now. Corey, although to be fair to him, does have similar ERS usage to the AlphaTauri driver. Corey looking for race victory number 3 of the season, having won at Vietnam and Belgium earlier in the season. But Softy continuing to remain within half a second of the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, sorry, there was a trick of the camera there. I saw CJH slightly offline, and Jack Hickey looked like he was alongside him, but very much not, unfortunately. So the TV director doing a very good job at confusing me there. But we got the Renaults, Dom, all over the back of each other. Renault a bit inconsistent this season. And Alistair might be looking to try and put a move on Jonas if Jonas can't get past Jack Hickey anytime soon.
And I wonder if one of these two will choose to pit this time round, because Phil is flying out there and Jonas doesn't even respond to Phil's pace. Jonas dives into the pit lane, as has 2 of the cars in front, Softy and Corey. So the leaders are both in, as is the Renault of Jonas.
Yep, so CJH takes over as de facto race leader, Jack Hickey in P2, and we've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. I think we've got one of the Mercedes struggling out there. Not too sure, but interested to keep an eye on that. J. Luke has left the session. We've got a yellow flag Sector 1 and 3 at the moment. I don't think we've got any safety car or virtual safety car on the horizon at the moment, because that would have been timed perfectly for our leading pair.
Yeah, I think J. Luke dived into the pit lane way too quickly, picked up a 5-second penalty, and maybe that was enough to go, you know what, I'm done for this race. I'm going to go practice for Austria. But CJH then leads the field from Jack Hickey. Jack Hickey needs to set a good good in-lap, because he knows that Phil and the likes of Jonas behind him are pushing really quick. In fact, Aiden is now just behind Jonas, a few seconds back on the road. But Corey, crucially, staying clear of the AlphaTauri of Softy, and now he's got a long 8 laps to try and keep the 5-time champion behind him.
Yeah, we got an interesting battle actually at the lower end of the standings. Well, I say the mid-pack of the standings. We've obviously got the Jean, Phil and CJH situation. Jean on 128 points, Phil 109, CJH 101. So a good result for someone like a CJH or a Jean here could really help them in that pursuit of what is P7 in the standings. And with Aiden so far back in the order at the moment, he could very much be drawn into that at the moment in 6th place. It just hasn't really happened for Aiden this year. We've got CJH and Paul McGuinness in the pits, but Dom, he won round 2, but just hasn't quite seemed on pace since then.
Yeah, it started off so well for the Racing Point driver, top of the championship. Still a consistent season. He does have Racing Point sitting top at the moment. As I noticed, Jack Hickey is going very long on these soft tyres, so a different strategy then. Split strategies here between the Racing Point drivers. Aiden closing up on the back of Jonas, who is also keeping his distance to Phil Bargewell. But yeah, I think Aiden needs a strong result here and the next race if Racing Point are going to win this championship, because Softy is looking pretty quick, and Owen in the points as well.
Yep. And talking of Softy looking quick, he is absolutely going for it right now. He is using every single ounce of track he can get away with. He's really using those tyres. He wants to clear that Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Tauri, it's fed up of staring at an Alfa Romeo logo. He wants to see an Alfa Tauri in the net lead of this race. He's got DRS open, but I think he's going to be too far back to try and move this lap, Dom. But surely that move for the net race lead is coming.
It's coming, isn't it? Corey and Softy. We've had some great battles between them throughout the season. Of course, there was that infamous contact at Belgium, which left Softy spinning round. So Softy will want to be careful. But at the same time, Softy has the championship in the bag. He can afford to take risks. The championship's over. So can he go for a move on Corey? Corey's impressed in the latter half of this season. He's been on the podium for the last 4 races in a row. He'll want to keep Softy behind, though, but there's still a long way to go in this race.
He is getting so close, and now we're into the Maggott and Beckett section of this track. We've got a fantastic aerial cam at the moment. Softy running a little bit deeper than Corey, but he's got the overtake. He had the overtake in order, but he's certainly got the DRS, and are we going to see a move into Stowe on this lap? He thinks better of it, but boy, oh boy, did he get close. And are we going to see a move now coming into the last few corners on the lap? Corey defends the line as best as he can, but without losing too much time. Good bit of defensive driving here from Corey, you have to say, to keep the 5-time champion at bay.
Yeah, Corey seemed to be fine on the softs, but since switching to the mediums, Softy seems to have that more confidence in the car. He's now getting so close to Corey, and Corey's used pretty much all of his ERS to try and keep the AlphaTauri behind very quickly. Corey's going to find himself with no ERS at all to use. So it's looking good for Softy at the moment. Both of them are not having any traffic to deal with. The drivers in front have just come into the pits, which is good news for both of them, I think.
Yep, Corey, here we go. He's using his overtake. Softy not using his overtake, just on the DRS. Are we going to see a dive? No, we're not. I kind of feel as if Softy just has to go for something a bit different at the moment, because Corey, at the moment, just about has an answer.
Yeah, and Jack Hickey, crucially, behind Phil Bargewell and CJH. They do both have penalties, so Jack Hickey could still jump both of them, but he hasn't got the pace here. Already dropping a few tenths to Phil Bargewell, so keep an eye on that as well. Softy, if you can win this race and have Jack down in 5th, suddenly the Constructors is wide open.
Yeah, we are really being treated to a fantastic scrap at the front here. There are plenty of battles going on track, as you rightfully mentioned there, Dom. But we are really being treated at the front at the moment. We've got 2 drivers who are constantly separated by less than half a second, but somehow Softy just can't find a way by. He's trying everything he's got in his arsenal, but might have to try something a little bit different. He is giving his all in this car at the moment, but perhaps he's holding something back for later on in the race, where he can surprise Corey and make a move that will stick.
And I tell you what, Mayor Quimby, Softcop's teammate, is staying out on soft tyres. The only reason he'd do that is to effectively try and get in Corey's way, distract him and allow Softy to go through. So Owen now 6 seconds ahead of these two, and they're catching him at a very quick rate.
Yeah, Owen playing the team game. Could that affect them negatively in the Constructors' Championship? He's just picked up a penalty, which isn't exactly the most positive thing he could have done. Softy once again then getting close, but he's just holding on to that battery. Corey's battery down in the 20%. Softy up in the mid-60s. He is preserving his car as best he can, perhaps to try a late dive. Meanwhile, talking of dive, Phil Baldwell's just dived at the inside of CJH and got the move done for what is a net P3.
Yeah, I saw that. It was a brilliant move from Phil Bargewell. We got yellow flag in Sector 1. What's that for? I think the 2 Mercedes might have made contact, officially passing Cena at the back end of the grid, but very close racing there, and a good move from Phil on CJH.
Yeah, meanwhile, back at the battle at the front, here we go again. I just don't know how this one's going to conclude. I just feel that Softy's got something up his sleeve that we just haven't seen yet. Surely he has. Corey has drained his battery. Is Softy toying with him? It's like a cat playing with a mouse before he pounces. But who is going to win in this game of cat and mouse tonight?
I think Andy and Owen are going to stay out for a possible safety car. By the time it gets to lap 10, that's normally when the cut-off is. There will not be a safety car or a VSC after that window. So if that's what Owen hoping for, he'll need to come into the pit soon to get a new set of tyres. But Corey, Softy are now your net leading 2. And look at this, Softy's getting ever closer.
You just feel that Softy's just biding his time. But you mentioned about a safety car there, Dom. that could really that could hinder him massively. You know, if we get a late safety car and suddenly the laps he can have to try and pass Corey are halved. Corey is taking to the grass to try and get out of Softy and to deny him the toe coming down the Wellington straight. He is doing everything he can.
I'll tell you what, Mike. Sorry, Jack Hickey had no DRS on the CJH, and Jonas almost went for a move on the racing point. He's going to bide his time, like Softy's doing with Corey. But Jack Hickey needs to stay ahead of these drivers. Jonas does not have a penalty, so this is for a net position. Jack Hickey trying to keep the Renault behind.
Dom, it is so close all across the track. I just don't know where to watch. We're back with the battle at the front as they head through Maggots and Beckett's once more. Maybe, just maybe into Stowe. Softy will fancy his chances. This is the closest he's been, I think, this whole race. Corey's battery is shot. Softy has got the DRS wide open. Is he going to try around the outside into Stowe? He thinks better of it, but is he going to have a good rundown now into the club chicane? Corey, once again, has to go defensive, and Softy has to play second fiddle once more. Jonas, meanwhile, further back, is going to try and get past Jack Hickey, but he still has to sit pretty behind him for the moment. There's battles across the field, Dom.
Yeah, everywhere you look. We've also got Court, who was side by side with Jordan. In fact, those two have now just switched position. So brilliant stuff. But Corey and Softy, 2/10 between them. That gap just seems to get closer and closer. I'm not sure how, but Softy surely is going to have his best chance yet on this next straight.
Yep, Corey has been able to give himself a little bit of battery, up to 22%, and boy, is he using it. He feels he needs to. Softy is going to go for it now. Round the outside. He comes down the Wellington straight, but he has to hold position at the moment. This defensive drive from Corey at the moment is absolutely biblical. He's doing a great job.
He is, isn't he? Fantastic stuff from the Alfa Romeo. Softy getting closer, closer and closer. He's not going to find a move into Klopp, surely is he? But also, good news for Jack Hickey in the background. John is now under threat from his teammate Alistair.
Yeah, as we said, battles throughout this field at the moment. We're not quite sure where to look, but surely this kettle that has been boiling out the front is going to boil over in a minute, because this is surely about to get tasty, and Phil is in a great position at the moment to pick up if we have a repeat of Belgium. Here we go, into Stowe once more. Corey covers the inside. Softy doesn't quite have the bravery to try around the outside, but now heading to the club chicane. Corey covers the inside line. Softy is going to try and go the long way round, but he just can't manage it. These two are getting so close on the track. This is absolutely brilliant racing.
Absolutely fantastic stuff from these two champions of TGP1. Corey and Softy putting on a show here in the final week. Softy needs to clear the Alfa Romeo. Will he do it into turn 3?
He thinks better of it this time round, but surely into the Wellington straight. Is he going to try one? No, out of village into farm. It's just not happening. Has Corey done enough? Has Softy just ran out of ideas? Is he going to have to get creative? Because he's got a good gap again now, Dom. He's got a bit of a gap. His battery is in tatters, but his defence is brilliant.
And Jack Hickey now trying to get P5 from CJH. He's pulled the gap down to 0.2 of a second. He's closed that second gap, and he's going to want to clear the McLaren driver, because if he can do that, suddenly Jonas, Alistair fall behind. There'll be a bit of breathing space between them. Jack Hickey needs these points, but Softy needs that win even more.
I have to say, I'm on my feet. I don't know which way this one's going to go. This is absolutely brilliant. Softy is almost pushing Corey through Maggots and Beckett onto the hangar straight once more. Now he's using a bit of battery. Now he's getting a little bit racy. And surely this is Softy's best opportunity. Corey has drained his battery round the outside. Is he going to try? He just doesn't. He just can't do it. And it's so frustrating watching it. Surely he's going to try it round the outside to club and just can't get it done. Corey's defence hangs on for a little bit longer.
I'm getting deja vu here. Sure, he's not going to find a move into the last corner. Look how close he is as they cross the line. 1/10 of a second is all it is. There's still 2 laps to go. Corey's hands are going to be so sweaty.
Yeah, they are side by side almost round turn number 2, and Corey still just about does enough. Softy's tyres must be screaming for this to end, and we're not. We want this to keep going. I don't want to know who the winner's going to be. This is too brilliant. 2 drivers pushing to their absolute limits around the countryside in Britain, around a disused airfield just 50, 60 years ago, and it's now being brought alive.
CJH, Jack Hickey, Jonas and Alistair, 4 cars separate by about half a second. Jack Hickey's going to go round the outside of CJH. He needs to make this move stick. As look, Alistair in the background almost passes his teammate for P7.
Yeah, this is fantastic racing. These 5 cars now, Court's joining this battle, all going for what is just P5. But CJH with a penalty, Allison with a penalty, are not in a good place. Court is on fresh soft tyres and is giving all the drivers in front of him something to worry about. Phil's in a race on his own, but someone who isn't in a race on his own is Softy and Corey. They go again. Softy drains the battery. They're heading to it, and he does the switch back on him. He's going up the inside. The Softy tries it, and it's contact. He's round. Oh my goodness me! Softy is facing the wrong way. It's happened again. Unbelievable. Softy is tumbling down the order. Phil Bardwell's got past, and Corey's going to win the race. Fantastic stuff.
But the good news for Softy is Phil has 8 seconds worth of time penalty, so he will still take the position back from Phil. Jack Hickey, Jonas side by side into the final corner. Be careful, boys, there's the championship on the line. Jonas for now holds on, but Alistair just a tenth behind him. They're going to go side by side into turn 1. Who's going to be bravest? It's going to be Jack Hickey. He makes sure Jonas runs out of room, but still Jonas is there. Sure, he'll try and move again.
Oh, and here goes Court in the back, Dom. Look, here goes Court up the inside of Alistair, and he always loses the back end. This is great stuff. Court now trying round the outside of Alistair, just can't quite hold on to it. Caught on the fresh soft tyres. It's giving the Renault some serious cause for concern, but himself picks up a penalty. Meanwhile, Jonas is going to go try round the outside as they come into Brooklands. He's still holding on. The car can't quite give up. He's on the grass, and Jack Hickey is just about doing enough to hold on, and Court has got past Alistair further back.
And here comes Alistair on Court again. He's going to come straight back at him as Jonas also goes for a move on Jack Hickey. Alistair might just get the has he has. He's back into P7. What a move from him. Now can he get Jonas or Jack Hickey? It's the final lap. Corey set to win. But what a battle we've got here between 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th.
This is all for P5, and as we said, it may not be many championships on the line anymore apart from the constructors, but there's certainly a lot of pride, and someone who's going to be full of pride after this race. He held on with every single ounce of being that he had, and Corey rounds the final corner for a well-deserved win in Silverstone. What a race we've been treated to. Phil Bardwell is going to cross the line second, but it's all still happening for P5. Their line astern as they come around the final few corners, and Jack Hickey will hold on, but he jumps up to P3 in the end after penalties applied. So that's a great result for Racing Point in the end, because Aidan Griffiths also manages to pick up points. Tom, I need to lie down.
Yeah, you deserve one, Mike. That race was absolutely crazy. I'm almost glad that Softy and Corey came together at the end, because it allowed us the chance to watch the battle behind between CJH, Jack Hickey, Jonas, all of them, in fact. The midfield battle was so good there. Look at the gaps from sort of 7th downwards. Court 2/10 back from Kamababo, Aiden 2/10 back, CJH 1/10 back, Paul 3/10 back, Jordan 1/10 back. I could go on. But Corey wins the race, and I believe that Phil Bardwell was handed a 5-second time penalty as a glitch, basically, by the game. So Phil would have 5 seconds removed, which I believe would put him about 4/10 ahead of Softy into second position.
Drama. Absolute drama all the way through that race. We didn't know where to look, we didn't know what to look at, and we didn't know what was going to happen next. I've never been a huge fan of races around Silverstone, but boy was I glad that we were treated to one tonight. We said we were going to have 2 great races. There was a lot of pride at stake. There was everything on stake out on the circuit tonight. Absolutely fantastic. Every single driver should be proud of themselves, and we got another great celebration from Corey. Oh, he's earned that one. He's earned that trophy. He'll earn the champagne. It's another win for Corey, and it's around Silverstone. What a race, and boy, what a penultimate round we've had. I hope the final round is just as good.
Wow, what a race. And once again, Corey with the dance of the season. He beat his title rival, Softy. Softy, maybe champion, but he does not get the victory here at Silverstone. What a race that was. Who got the fastest lap in the end? It wasn't any of the top 14 drivers, I don't think. Indeed, it went to Dan the Man, but he won't get the point because he wasn't in the points positions.
Yeah, I almost forgot Dan was in this race. Dan normally very much on our minds during these sorts of races, but that safety car just didn't come for him in the end. Let's give you a rundown of the order. So Corey was our winner. We understand Phil Bardwell will be jumped back up to P2 at the end after penalties have been reviewed. So Softy will end at P3, Jack Hickey P4, Jonas in P5, ERT Kama Babo, where did he come from? In P6, great show from the Williams driver. Court in P7, Aidan Griffiths P8, CJH down in P9 after finishing 4th on the road, and Paul McGee, our final point scorer, with Jordan just missing out on a point. but by no means out of that race or having a pointless race, because I think everyone in that race played their part for what I'm going to say is race of the season.
Yeah, that was quite a cracker, wasn't it? I think it's might not just be Netherlands for me. That was really good. But Silverstone producing the goods throughout the race. Phil Bardwell indeed did have his 5-second penalty removed, so he is back into second place. And you never know, if Corey's felt deemed to have caused the incident there, of course he could get a post-race penalty, and that could hand Phil Bardwell an unlikely win. And you said Phil Bardwell was just sat there waiting to pick up the pieces. If anything was to happen, that might well be the case. But for now, Corey takes the race win from Phil and Softy. The gap in the constructors has been cut, but only by 3 points. Owen and Aiden did not score, so AlphaTauri are now 20 points behind Racing Point with 1 round to go. Softy needs a win. He needs his teammate to get a good point haul too, and the Racing Points to have a race to forget.
Yeah, well, Owen has normally gone quite well round the Spielberg circuit before, so I'd like to think, for him at least, that he'll be fancying a better showing, but he's always gone well round Silverstone, probably most of the tracks on the calendar, actually. He's just had a poor season, hasn't he? But crucial for Phil there, that second place does very much put him in striking distance of Jean for P7 in the championship. Aiden is just about out of reach now for Phil, but John is not a million miles away, Dom. So in that battle for what is P7 in the standings, I didn't expect to be thinking that John and Phil would be as low as P7 and 8 this season. But both obviously former race winners, and John titles as well to his name. But gosh, I mean, what a season, what a race, and what a finale this sets us up for now.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Off to Austria, one of my favourite circuits on the game. I think Austria is that one of your circuits too, Mike? One of your favourite circuits?
It's a great circuit. Absolutely fantastic circuit. Just simple, proper, classic racing circuit. I mean, you've got long straights, you've got tight corners, you've got fast corners, you've just got it all. And in this setting as well, we're so lucky to be coming back here.
Yes, of course, Mike. Me and you will both be racing in TGP2 tomorrow. One dirt title between us.
Yes, our typical and usual shameless plug for TGP2. The title fight. Actually, hang on, just before I get to it, 60 wins in the commentary box.
One dirt title between us.
I'm coming for you next year. I'll be at the back. And I don't know, maybe can you get in people's way in Dirt Rally? Because that might be the only way I deny you.
Unfortunately not, Mike. Unfortunately not. It's just you and the track. So
okay.
I'll be safe, I think.
I think you could be. Yeah, I think you could be. But yeah, TGP2, tune in tomorrow. I'm not making any predictions tonight on what's going to happen on TGP2 because I nearly went bankrupt last week. So Dom, anyone could win. Anyone could win in TGP2 tomorrow. John, Mr. John is going to get a podium in Austria tomorrow. You heard it here first.
We've got to be very careful with our predictions, mate. Last week, we joked about Tom Penguin taking a podium at Baku, and that is exactly what happened. So I've learned to not try and poke fun
if anyone
anyone.
gets a spare 20 minutes, go back and watch last week's TGP2 race. Absolute drama all the way through the race. Fantastic commentary from Andy and Dan as well. Just summing it all up for us brilliantly. And that was the reaction that we were having in the party while racing as well. That it was very similar. We were all screaming in the party, weren't we, Dom, for Tom Penguin to get that podium. It was brilliant to watch. It was absolutely fantastic. And so tune in tomorrow night, 7:30 for the final week of TGP2. But now we got the final race of TGP1, and we've got an AlphaTauri and a Racing Point, the first cars on a track. How telling is that, Dom?
Yeah, Racing Point want to get their laps in. Jack Hickey and Aiden. In fact, I made a mistake. Aiden did score 4 points in Silverstone, so actually Racing Point have actually gained a point on AlphaTauri, so the gap is now at 24, not at 20, so it's looking better for Racing Point. It's not over yet, of course. Softy is still the fastest driver on the grid. He could very easily get the win and the fastest lap for AlphaTauri, but the Racing Points need to be smart, need to be wise, because last season, if my memory is correct, they both took each other out, Aiden and Jack Hickey. They do not want to repeat of that this season.
Dear. Oh dear. That isn't good. They will very much not be hoping for that. That would be a classic open goal, that would, because you have to say Softy is probably favourite for the win around Spielberg. So, yeah, if they did that, then they would lose the championship potentially by as little as 1 point, which would be heartbreaking for everyone in that Silverstone-based team. So we got some quick laps around Austria, only just a shade over a minute. So very easy for the drivers to get 4 runs in. Very easy as well to invalidate your lap time. Those curbs are looming and those white lines are threatening, Dom.
They are. It's a very easy track to end up with an invalidate lap time, isn't it? I think Phil Barger was saying before tonight, he knows he's probably going to get 1 or 2 laps in because it's so easy to invalidate. They're going to get about 4 runs in if they time it right. Such a short circuit, just over a minute, I think it is. We're expecting to see times in the low 1-minute 2s. I think it's going to be a fight between Softy, Phil, and Jack Hickey, maybe Corey as well. You have to say Corey, don't you? A race winner from last time out. They're going to be challenging for pole position. You never know. Dan the Man could also be in that fight too. The most successful driver when it comes to qualifying.
Yeah, and Austria always throws up a good grid. The last lap is always the crucial one. Whoever's last across the line normally does get a good grid slot. We saw it last season in TGP1 and TGP2 as well. So watch out for those drivers crossing the line, as Dan the Man did in Silverstone, at the last possible moment to get that lap time in. Softy, the first lap time on the board then, on the soft tyres, unusual for him, at a 103.2. Aidan Griffin's on the mediums, a 104.1. As the drivers starting to come through to complete the laps. Owen Quimby on a 104.4. CJH, 103.6. We're watching Court now coming through the penultimate corner. And invalidated his lap at the penultimate corner as well. Parzo's invalidated his lap. Johners around the second to last corner. Keeps in the white lines, the Renault driver. As we said, in a battle now for 7th in the championship that he might not have been expecting to have this season. P3 for Johners at the moment. Dan the Man pops up into P2. Just 0.03 of a second off of Softcop as Jordan pops it into P7. We've got a yellow flag on the run up to turn 3.
Alex Afro asks in the comments, why is the best track the last round on the calendar? Well, Austria is my favourite track, and I'm the league host, so I put Austria as the final round of the season. Not biased at all, Mike.
No, not biased at all, and it certainly wasn't to try and make sure that if there was a constructors fight in TGP2, that you would have your best track at the end, just to maybe try and give Mercedes a bit of an advantage. But it's fine. I'm not bitter about it. I'm totally okay with it, considering that I am currently battling you for the constructors title. How many constructors titles are there between us, Dom? That's a good question. There you go. That's okay. That's going to send him off into his stats now, isn't it? There we go. That shut him up for a little bit. Meanwhile, on the track, we've got a lot of drivers on in-laps, which is awfully boring for us to commentate over. So it gives us maybe a little bit of time to reflect back on the season. Now, Dom, I've already called it, and I've said what my race of the season was. You very bravely put into the ring Holland, which I wasn't there for. Looking back over the season that we've very much enjoyed commentating over, what other races would you put up in that mix for your races of the season?
Oh, there's been so many classics, haven't there? I think opening round of the season, Bahrain was pretty good. We saw Aiden, of course, win that after a great battle with Matt Tibos. Softy, unusually, I think picked up a drive-through penalty, so had to serve that and dropped out with the points completely. I think there was another race at the United States. Good battles. I think Matt Tibos edged that one.
Yes,
and then, of course, the Netherlands race and the one we just seen in Great Britain. But there's been quite a few to pick from.
Belgium was quite good, if my
season.
memory serves me right,
yes.
too. Obviously, we had that three-way fight. Matt Tibos putting it in the wall. Softy and Corey again finding each other. And we've had some surprise winners as well over the season. Well, obviously, I have to say that my biggest shock of the season, I mean, CJH has been great, and I think he's had a really good season, But I have to say, it's Jack Hickman. A solid P2 performance. And, he's not just P2. He's, before that race, he was, 50 points ahead of Dan, I think it was. So, wasn't going to be overtaken for P2 in the championship, realistically. But just a really, really solid season. For Jack Hickman. I think he's come along leaps and bounds this season, Dom. I don't know about you.
Yeah, he's got P2 secured in the championship, likely to secure the constructors, all being well for Racing Point, and it's so easy to forget that just 2 seasons ago, he was racing in the midfield in TGP2. He has come such a long way. He's now right at the front in TGP1. It's good to see, and I'm sure a potential future Drivers' Champion in TGP1. Don't want to put too much pressure on him, but he's definitely going to be up there, I think. Great season from Jack Hickey.
Yeah, he's doing a grand job, and in that Racing Point environment with Aidan Griffins as a solid teammate as well has really helped him out. And it's great to see Jack doing as well as he is, and as you said there, perhaps maybe a future TGP1 champion as well. In the midst of all this, I didn't actually realise that Corey had gone fastest So I'm doing a really good job at keeping an eye out on what's going on the timing screens at the moment. So apologies, Corey, that I missed your, quite frankly, very good qualifying lap. 900ths quicker than Softy. Meanwhile, we got, talking of Racing Point and Aiden Griffins, we've got Aiden Griffins on a lap at the moment. Dom, talk us through the final couple of sectors of this lap.
Who are you on board as? Sorry, Softy. I was on my phone again.
Unbelievable. You just can't get the co-commentators these days. If anyone would like to be my co-commentator for the next season of TGP 1 or 2, then do please write to me at Dom Smith's replacement, TGPSeries, PO Box 10 something. Really good to hear from you. Ada Griffins, who I'm riding on board with, if Dom Smith was paying attention, has just gone fastest. See, you could have been commentating around the provisional pole up, and you have done this to me. Unbelievable. Ada Griffins on to provisional pole, which is quickly and very swiftly taken away from him by Softy on a 1:03.0. The first man into the low 1 minute threes. Could we see a 1 minute 2 lap time? That's quite a spicy thought, isn't it? Dan the man's on a quick lap, Dom. Do you want to commentate over that, or are you going to be on your phone again?
As you were chatting away there, Mike, you missed Softy go quickest. You were too busy watching Aiden, and then we're having a go at me. While Softy was coming around the final corner, I could have taken over there and done some great commentary. But, you know, Mike, commentary's not for everyone. Might not be your gig.
Dom, you watching Dan the Man, who's just gone purple in sector 2?
Yes, I am. Dan the Man come around the final corner now. Where can you go in that Ferrari? He's got 3/10 to find if he's to take pole position. Where does he go? It's only P3, just a 10th shy of Softy and just 500ths off Aiden.
Yep, he found a 10th and a half there, Dom. I saw that in the top right corner. I don't know if you were paying attention. But to go into P3, good lap from Dan. We've got Corey on an out lap at the moment as well. Jonas is just firing up for a quick one, just heading through the first sector at the moment, not finding any time. A lot of cars on track at the moment. It's going to be difficult for these drivers to find a little bit of space, but in the first couple of sectors, maybe a toe is what you need for that difference in the lap time.
Yeah, we saw Softy get a toe from Owen in qualifying. Silverstone didn't matter in the end. Softy invalidated his lap, but surely we'll see something similar, because I think Softy knows Owen is very unlikely to score points. I say that, he is P11 at the moment, just outside the top 10, which isn't a bad place to start. But for him, if he can start there, good chance of points. If not, he needs to give Softy any little advantage he can, because, of course, Racing Point have a huge lead. 24 points going into this race.
Yeah, really good showing from Racing Point so far. John is then coming to the penultimate corner. He's had a lot of cars to deal with, and he has dived into the pits. A lot of pace diving into the pits there. I don't think I'd be that risky. Corey, meanwhile, is just about to start a lap. Dom, take the commentary. Oh, is he just invalidated?
Yes, I think he has. I hope you enjoyed my lap commentary of Corey there.
Right, here we go. Jack Hickey on a lap then, the Racing Point driver, coming through the middle sector. My cat's just ran out the room. I think he was so excited that Jack Hickey was just starting a flying lap. So wiggling his way through the middle sector, then these two quick left-handers. You've got to hope the rear end sticks, and for Jack Hickey it just about does. He's 3 temps up on his personal best. This could put him close to provisional pole. This could be a really important lap for Racing Point season. Is Jack Hickey going to get close enough to his teammate to challenge Softy? One corner to go now. Keep it neat and tidy. He keeps it in the lines. Jack Hickey on the run to the line then. He goes P6. Wow.
It's so tight, isn't it? Look at the gap. 2/10 the difference between the top 6 drivers. So it's all to play for. Still 7 minutes to go in this session. But wow, it's close, isn't it?
I didn't realise quite how close it was. This is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We've got 2 temps. Less than 2 temps covering the top 6 drivers. This is brilliant. And we've got 4 different teams involved in that as well. So this is brilliant stuff. Is there 4
Ginger Andy.
teams? I don't know.
Ginger Andy was looking quick, lost a few tenths in the final sector. The sport is there in the top. Yeah, 4. Racing Point, Ferrari, and Alfa
sorry,
Romeo.
I was being dim. Liam Robbo has just started a lap, so let's see how the Haas driver. There's so much action in this qualifying session. We're only 11 minutes in, but still got 7 minutes to go. Still a lot can happen. We've got drivers trying to get out of the way. Gee, gosh. Liam Robbo was scaring the life out of Phil Bargewell. It was there. It takes a lot to scare Phil. He's a big old man, so you want to make sure he had his pacemaker in the car there. So Liam Robbo then coming down the back straight towards the tricky turn 4 braking zone, downhill. Try not to catch that inside front right on the brakes. He did a little bit of a lock up there, but that might not have lost him too much time there. Now into the double left-hander. Hope the rear end is planted. which it is, keep it inside the lines, which he just about has, and he's not finding any time at the moment, but all he has to do is find a 10th, and he can find himself, actually only a position higher, that's quite boring. It is close, but Liam Robbo needs to find a good 10th and a half to put himself up any meaningful position. Softy rounding the last corner at the moment to start another lap. No, he just finished that and he's gone quickest. He's dipped into 1 minute 2s. And Liam Robbo, wow, what a last sector that was. He's gone P2, 1,000th of a second quicker than Aidan Griffins. Brilliant stuff.
Really tight, isn't it, throughout the field? So many cars separated by just a couple of tenths of a second. I forgot to say congratulations to Phil Bargewell. He got his bus pass last week. He may not have won the dirt title this time round, but he's got to the age where he's received his bus pass. So congratulations to Phil Bargewell. What can he do on this next time lap? Just 2 tenths adrift to Softy, but we know he can get in the 1 or 2s. He did it in practice, and he's currently a 10th quicker in the first sector.
Yeah, Dan the Man's going quicker just further around the track there, Dom. He is currently finding about half a 10th and gone purple in that middle sector. The Ferraris trying to do a combination attack on the top 3. Are we going to see them make up any positions? Dan just needs to find half a 10th to jump ahead of Aidan. And he'd be a level time with Liam Robbo as well. Round the final corner, then Dan to the line. Is this going to be an improvement on P4? No, it's not. He set exactly the same lap time. Phil Bargewell, 2 tenths up in the middle sector. You said he was quick in practice, Tom, but practice means nothing. It's qualifying that what counts, and Phil Bargewell's on a blinder of a lap at the moment. Can he keep it between the white lines? 1 corner to go, and he's absolutely mullered that one.
There was a racing point that seemed to flash onto the screen as Jack Hickey came into the pit lane, which I think might have put Phil off. It put me off. But Phil Bargewell went a bit wide, and it's a shame for him because he was almost 3 tenths up in the middle sector. It would have been enough to go quickest, but he'll get 1 more run in, but Phil Bargewell will be gutted with that. It was looking so good until that final corner.
Yep, John is meanwhile a little bit further around the lap, just coming through the second sector at the moment. We'll see what his second split time is in comparison. He's finding a 10th, and that 10th at the moment would put him around P6. So, if he can have a good enough last sector, Jonas could find himself really jumping up the leaderboard. It really is so tight. The top 10, 6 tenths. 6 tenths between the top 10. Ethan Vela, this is that time. Moving on. ERT Jordan not improving on this run. Phil Bargewell obviously is coming into the pits as the drivers now get ready for their final runs. We've got Paul McGuinness and Ginger Andy just about to start some flying laps. So let's run on board with them. I mean, we say just how close it is. A second covers the top 14. Top 14 cars covered by a second. Brilliant. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I love Austria. The track is always, the field is always so close. We saw last season Speed Knighton, a TGP2 champion, won around this circuit. There was like an epic 6-car battle between the top 6 all race. Didn't seem like it was ever going to end, but eventually Speed Knighton held on to win by, I think, about half a 10th of a second. It was so tight, and we might see something very similar here. Softy, 2 tenths quicker than Liam Robbo at the moment. Almost seems like a lifetime because the gaps between the rest of them, look at that, Liam Robbo just 1,000ths quicker than Aidan, who's just 500ths quicker than Dan, who's just 400ths quicker than Phil, and it goes on, and it's just so tight, and it's brilliant to see.
Dom, Paul McGuinness has just gone purple in the middle sector. The Red Bull driver has just kept that middle sector so tidy, and his team's home race, is he going to give them something to celebrate about? The man from Scotland rounds the final corner, keeps it in the lines. Where's this going to go for Paul McGuinness? It's only P9. I say only P9. He found half a second on that lap, and he only jumped about, 3 places?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan currently P10. If he can find just 2 tenths of a second, he goes second on the grid, a front row start. It's so tight. And now Corey, I think, is going to be the first of the big runners to get their next lap in, and he's got a bit of a toe as well from Paul, which will help him.
Yeah, he is half a 10th up around the first sector. What is effectively just 2 corners. Well, it's effectively just 1 corner through the middle sector now. This one's a bit more challenging. Tricky braking zone. Nice and tidy from the Alfa Romeo driver. What is his second going to do? Look how quickly he heads over to the right-hand side of the track, trying to find every single 1,000th of a second that he can. But he needs to. It's the only way he's going to be able to take pole. He's lost time in the middle sector, but he needs to have a hell of a last sector. He's got 3 tenths he needs to find on Softy, and he needs to find 3 tenths in 2 corners. Nice and neat and tidy through the penultimate corner. Don't clip the sausage on the inside. He's run a bit wide, and the lap's gone. Moving on, Aidan Griffins through the first sector. 12 thousandths down on his personal best. Softy, meanwhile, is further around the lap. Let's keep an eye on him, the AlphaTauri driver. Is he going to extend his advantage at the front, Dom? How's his first sector looked?
Yeah, it's looking all right. I think he was a 10th up, so he's finding time. It's not going to be enough to get Softy at the moment. If he can find just 1/10 more, it will be enough for pole position.
Yep, Softy then, he was purple in the middle sector, but actually down in his personal best, so must have had a tricky first sector himself. 2 corners to go, and he's invalidated his lap time. Moving on, let's go back to Aiden then. He was slightly up in that middle sector. The Racing Point driver currently in P3. Can he improve on that? The car looks planted. He keeps it in the white lines. This could be good for Aiden Griffins. It's P2. P2, and he's just over a 10th off of Softy. Liam Robbo is currently coming to the end of the second sector. He was 2,000 slower than his personal best through the first split. Is this going to be any improvement? He jumped up to second just a moment ago. He's not finding any time at the moment. And he's running a bit wide, and that's the lap gone, unfortunately for him. Dan the Man has just begun his lap time. Phil Bargewell is now coming through the second sector. It's a busy track at the moment. There's a lot going on. It's tricky to keep up with. Dom, do shout in if you see anything. Phil Bargewell then through the middle split. And he's up. Look at this. Phil Bargewell. He just needs to keep his last sector in order, which is what he failed to do last time. Look out for any racing points, Phil. I hope you've been to Specsavers and got your glasses on, son, because this is a big one. 1 corner to go. He keeps it in the white lines. Is this going to be provisional pole for Phil Bargewell? No, it's not. But he does get himself onto the front row.
And Corey's improving. He's 2/10 up. He's gone again on this used set of soft tyres, but he's finding time. Softy will not improve. Corey needs to find 3/10 if he's to go quickest. He's 2/10 up at the moment, Mike.
Using all the curb that he can physically get away with, just eking onto those white lines. This is precision stuff from Corey to the line. It's pole! It's pole position by less than a 10th. He's done it. It's 2 poles in one night, surely, for the Alfa Romeo driver. Fantastic lap. Precision perfect stuff from Corey to take what will be his second pole of the night, surely.
Liam Robbo around the final corner. Can he improve? No. He was a 10th up. It wouldn't be enough for Paul, I don't think, but it could have been second or third.
Jack Hickey's not improving, Dom. Jack Hickey's not improving. He's back out of his time. That is it.
Corey. Wow.
Wow. That is a lap and a half. Great stuff. Great qualifying again. What a final week of TGP1 we're having on F1 2020. It's been a great game to be racing on, and we've been treated to some great racing so far tonight, Dom.
Where has this pace from Corey been all season? He was nowhere for the first 14 to 16 rounds, but all of a sudden, he now finds himself on pole position for the second time in a row, looking for a 4th podium in a row. Softy again behind his rival, and not the best qualifying for Racing Point. Jack Hickey messing up his final run, starts quite far down the grid. Aiden is on the second row, but AlphaTauri do have a chance because the Racing Points are muddled up in the order.
Yep. Fantastic stuff. So here we go. We'll give you a rundown of our grid order then. We've got Corey on pole position. A fantastic lap for the Alfa Romeo driver. We've got Softcop joining him on the front row, being denied at the last possible moment. Phil Bardwell in P3. An okay session for the man from Middlesbrough. Aiden Griffins in P3, our highest Scotsman. Liam Robbo, what could have been, in P5. Dan the Man in P6. Jack Hickey, our man in second place in the championship, P7. John is P8. Paul McGuinness in P9. And rounding out the top 10 is Jordan. You there, Dom?
Sorry, I was in that sort of cat and mouse thing where I didn't want to speak if you were about to speak, so there's a second delay, isn't there, between mics, and I was like, I don't want to speak now, and then you speak within a second, and then we go over each other. But I do apologise, Mike. Great qualifying that was, wasn't it? Corey, once again, the quickest man on Saturday. Will he be the quickest man again on Sunday? Softy, keep an eye on him. I mention it all the time, but his starts are so good. I don't know what he does. Maybe it's some sort of hack he's got into the game. Won't be surprised with Softy. He's a 5-time champion. He knows a few tricks. But Softy will have it all to do, and I'm looking forward to another epic battle around Austria. Slip, stream, heaven, the drivers have said in the chat.
Yep, here we go then. We've just got 10 seconds to go as the cat departs from my lap, as the drivers are getting ready. And he's betrayed me. He's actually run out of the door. Unbelievable. Not very good stuff from the cat there. So here we go then. We've got 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights in Austria. There's 1 round left to go. And we're underway for one last time in TGP1 on F1 2020, and it's a good start from the front row. And Softy, is he going to be challenging Corey into turn one? He certainly think about it, and there's contact again immediately. We've got a spinning force racing point further back. Unbelievably, it's Jack Hickey. He's falling down the order.
Get there, Bargewell. He's going to take the lead of the race up the inside of Softy and Corey. They're going 3 wide. There's going to be contact shot if they're not careful. Softy's sitting behind, waiting for his chance, and Corey into the lead, and Phil Bargewell crucially ahead of Softy, which is good for him because both racing points are at the back.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff. Jack Hickey and Aidan Griffin since spinning round on the opening lap. This is a golden opportunity that AlphaTauri need, but unfortunately for Softy, Phil had a great start. Also with a great start, Paul McGuinness. He's up to P5, Dom.
Wow, what a start from Paul. Great to see the most capped driver in TGP1 producing the goods once again. But what a start it's been here. Absolutely thrilling action, and both racing points 17th and 18th. You can't script this.
Yeah, this is unbelievable stuff. Softy needs the win. AlphaTauri need the win, and he's going to try and move into the last corner. Is he, Softy? He thinks better of it, but he's all over the back of Philip Bargewell. And this is exactly what Corey needs. It's got himself a little bit of a chance to get a gap to the second and third places. As further back, we've got ERT Jordan battling with Parza, and we've got properly mixed up order, Dom.
Yeah, both Mercedes gained 7 places on the opening lap, but obviously they're on board to that, as has Andy. Up to
oh,
P11.
there we go, Liam Robbo round the outside of Softy. He certainly thought about it, and Softy actually had to commit to a move up the inside of Phil just to defend. Unbelievable stuff.
It's so tight, isn't it? Austria, the cars are just glued to one another. Lee Robbo's going to have attack again on Softy with Paul right behind. Will the Haas driver go around the outside? He's going to get very close. Softy locks up, goes a bit wide, but for now keeps P3 ahead of the Haas driver.
Yeah, very close. Just tenths of seconds separate the top 6 from each other. Core up 5 places on that opening. As you said, the 2 Mercedes, great starts. Parza now up to P8. Great stuff.
Jack Hickey has stopped. He's gone to the medium tyres. He's got a long way to go on that rubber. 17 laps, but keep an eye on him. He's now in clean air. What can he do? 26 seconds adrift of Camababo. But yeah, these cars at the front are holding each other up. Really close action here at Austria. Phil goes a bit wide. That could give Softy a glorious chance into turn 1.
Yep, Softy certainly thinking about the move. DRS will now be enabled on the run up to turn number 3. Down to turn 4, Corey's picked up a penalty. He did so well at keeping off the curbs in Silverstone, but it's only been 3 laps, and he's got himself a punishment for going off the track too often.
It's the top 3 from Silverstone that we're seeing, the top 3 in Austria. Softy at the moment would be net P2. At the moment, he'd score 18 more points than Racing Point. The gap would be 6 points, and if Softy can take the win, they'd win it by 1 single point. It's that close. Softy can see the lead in front of him because it's Phil Bargewell. Corey with a 3-second time penalty, crucially after the first 3 laps.
Yeah, not good for Corey. Softy and Phil just need to keep their head clean. We know that Phil won't, so Softy surely at the moment is favourite for the win thanks to that penalty from Corey. Paul McGuinness holding his own at the moment in P5, of course, just behind him. Pars has picked up a penalty after that great start. He has been overtaken again by Jordan now, though. But look at that, the racing points, 15th and 16th. And we've got an incident further back, and it's involving Mayor Quimby. So not very good for AlphaTauri. They're going to have to come into the box and replace Mayor Quimby's front wing.
Yeah, Owen and Camababo coming together, former title rivals in TGP2. Will that be a safety car? VSC, it's not. It's been cleared, but Owen is going to come back to the pits and take advantage of a new front wing because it's going to be a long race for him. Yeah, no, it's start from down the man, isn't it? Maybe he's had some sort of drama, or maybe he's expecting a safety car of VSC, I think, from that incident.
Yeah, maybe so. Not a good showing at the moment.
Look at Court on Paul.
Yeah, I'm going to say Court is giving it his all at the moment, and he's going to try and go down the inside. The man from Holland. And he just about got it done. There was a little bit of contact. He forced Paul a little bit wide, but that was a good clean move. I think Paul was just trying to stick into something that probably wasn't going to work as Owen has retired from the race. So AlphaTauri down to just 1 car in a crucial race.
Yeah, I don't think Owen was going to score points after that incident with Camababo. Shame for both of them. They were both looking good for good points, but I'm really impressed with the Mercedes. Officially Parza up 9 places into P7.
Yeah, great stuff from the Mercedes. 7th and 9th, a good solid point scoring for them at the moment. Mercedes, this is their third and fourth drivers this season, and finally, perhaps finding a bit of consistency. Matt Tibos couldn't quite do the business. He won a couple of races, but the consistency not there. Parza and Cena maybe providing that. We will see them both next season in TGP2, so we look forward to seeing what sort of performances they can put in there. Meanwhile, the performance out the front is clear. Corey is your race leader, but has a penalty. Phil, therefore, is your net race leader, but he's being hounded by Softy, who, if he takes the race lead at the moment, would secure AlphaTauri the Constructors' Championship by 1 singular point. But Alistair is currently the man who's stopping Aidan Griffins from securing the title. Remember, Aidan and Alistair are brothers. Maybe there'll be a bit of brotherly love. They may be in 2 separate teams, but Racing Point can almost see that Constructors' title swinging back their way.
Officially, Parser is pushing Jordan around the track. He wants to get through. It's Phil Bargewell now just a 10th behind Corey and into the lead, and that's because Corey pits, that's why.
Yeah, and Liam Robbo pitted as well there. Great to see both Hasses were inside the top 5 there just before Liam Robbo came into the pits. But now, surely, this is the opportunity that Softy needed. Phil makes a bit of a mistake into turn number 1. He won't have DRS. This is Softy's best opportunity to try and take what will be the lead of the race.
And Aidan now just a 10th behind his brother Alistair.
Oh, sorry, Dom. Softy massively outbraked himself and nearly clattered into the back of Phil. That would have been disastrous. And almost certainly Constructors' Championship over.
Aidan back into PA. You can see the 2 Mercedes all over the Williams of Jordan. Jordan's really holding these cars up. Aidan coming back into this race. Still needs to make a pit stop, but penalties so easy to pick up here. If he can be smart, gets to the end with that one, he could still get enough points. He only needs 2 points to secure the Constructors' Championship for Racing Points, which is a P9 finish.
Yeah, Racing Point just need 1 point, well, 2 points to secure the overall points lead, you have to say. So what's the point of this? No one knows. We'll find out. Aidan Griffins does move himself into P8 though. Corey, after that pit stop, finds himself in P12. Liam Robbo just a couple of seconds back in P13. Our highest pitters so far, as Phil Bargewell now joins the pit club.
Yeah, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 cars now in the pit. Cena goes very wide, and Ian's going to be right on the back of the Mercedes driver. Can he get him into turn 1? He can see 2 positions sitting right in front of him. It's been an excellent drive so far from these 2 Mercedes drivers who will be looking to impress in TGP2 next season. But here comes Aidan. Can he get Cena into turn 3? He himself is getting DRS from Parser in front, so the 2 Mercedes can work together here. Look at them. We're going to see a move, in fact, on Cena up the inside of his teammate. Will he brake late? Aidan could pick them both off if he does. Cena goes wide, and Aidan will take, for now, at least P5. They're going to go side by side. But Aidan crucially ahead of 1, and now will it be a second?
Yeah, Aidan trying to pull off 2 moves in a matter of corners. He's going to try around the outside, is he? Thinks better of it. Unfortunately for Cena, just did get a little bit overexcited into turn 3 braking zone, and we have Parser and Aidan Griffin side by side as they work their way through the middle sector, and Aidan just has to sit pretty for the moment. He knows that he just needs to hold on for a couple of points.
Oh, and Softy's just come into the pit lane as we see a car retiring from the race. That'd be beautiful timing from the AlphaTauri driver. If it is a safety car, I don't think it will be, as it was a retirement in the pit lane. Yep.
Koa is our net race leader then. So, Aidan Griffins is take number 2. And he's trying to get past Parser, and he's going to do it easily into turn number 1. Even has time to pull back in front to take the racing line. So good stuff there from Aidan. And we've got Kawababo returning, but he has retired from the race. Sorry, Dom.
Yeah, Phil's ahead of Softy and right behind Corey. The gap is just 2 tenths. Corey trying to get through on Ginger Andy. How hard will Andy make him fight for it? Those medium tyres are 8 laps old compared to Corey's, who are only 2 laps old. The Alfa Romeo tries to go around the outside, and Phil clips the back of him. Oh, Phil.
Unbelievable. Phil Bargewell, when will you learn, son? Keep your head. Keep your head. Unbelievable. He had the race win staring at him, and he's just handed it on a silver plate with a knife and fork to Softy as Corey puts a great move round the outside of Ginger Andy coming round turn 4. But Phil Bargewell, we've seen him do it once. Andy's still fighting this. Great effort from Andy on what is 8-lap-old medium tyres. But we've seen it once, and we'll certainly see it again. Phil Bargewell just needs to keep his head as he now picks up a penalty as well.
Well, I was going to say the damage doesn't look too bad on the Ferrari. The front wing end plate is pretty much intact. It's just, Softy's got a penalty too, crucially.
Unbelievable. The race is thrown wide open. And Softy is wide open all over the back of Phil. And he's pushing him. We're on board with Softy. There's no room on the inside. But Softy's found it. And he's into a net P2.
Yeah, so Softy then. Of course, Corey has 3 seconds. As does Softy and Phil. They're all now on a level playing field. It will be down to what Liam Robert can do. Can he get within 3 seconds of Corey, who's currently 5th on the road? But Annette, P1, wants the top 4. All make their stops. Corey still under pressure from Andy, and Aidan still continues to stay out there on those soft tyres, setting some great pace.
Huge mention at the moment for CJH as well. The man who's normally prolific with the penalties, currently with none.
And Parser up the inside of Alistair to take P2. He's still going to make a stop, but this is some serious pace. Maybe I need to reconsider this guy being in TGP2 because he is absolutely flying at the moment.
Softy around the outside of Ginger Andy. He's carved through the McLaren driver who picked up a 3-second penalty in his own right. Softy is absolutely flying at the moment. Look at him go. He is catching Corey at a rate of knots.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see another Softy versus Corey battle. Let's see how that one plays out. But both Corey and Softy with 3 seconds, so they are matched on the road. Whoever finishes ahead of who, as things stand, will be the leader as Parser goes through on Alistair to take the lead of this race.
Unbelievable stuff. This is great driving from the Mercedes driver in only his second week in TGP, holding his own. But Alistair coming back at him now and does retake the lead. Are we going to see Parser try and move in the inside? He thinks better of it. Corey getting very close to the back of CJH, and Softy in turn getting very close to the back of Corey.
This train's incredible, isn't it? The top 5 covered by about a second. You can see the McLaren of CJH looking to clear Parser, trying to do the old switcheroo. Down the inside he goes. He takes the Mercedes, and for now is back into P2 on the road as Corey continues to keep the AlphaTauri behind. And now
he's going to try the inside, though. Is Corey going to try it? He's going to risk it. Up the inside. Corey on the Mercedes driver. They're side by side. It's further up. We've got Alistair Bain struggling, and he's got the move done. Great stuff.
This is brilliant stuff. Corey will now try to get through on the McLaren because he's got a bad exit after trying to fight with the Renault. These drivers are staying out. I think we'll either of them choose to pit this time round. Maybe the McLaren will. Corey goes round the outside. Needs to be careful not to get another time penalty. But look at Softy right on the back of this Alfa Romeo.
This is absolutely great racing. The driver's so close, barely separated by an inch on track. Alistair Bain is currently your race leader, but on old tyres, needs to pit again. Corey pitted 2 laps earlier than Softy. Softy tyres are in much better condition, but at the moment he finds himself still staring at an Alfa Romeo rear wing as Corey is now going to try and go around the outside of Alistair. You don't really want to take overtaking the car on the outside here, but he's certainly going to try it, Dom.
This is going to give Softy a glorious chance. We might be going 3 wide in a minute. Corey for now takes the position from Alistair, but they're still side by side. Will Softy try and go down the middle? Alistair shuts that door very tight, but looks like both of them are going to clear the Renault, and let's Alistair get back through the inside. But at the moment, Liam Robbo would win this race.
Unbelievable stuff. This is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. Phil Bargewell dropping like a stone thanks to that front wing damage. But as you rightfully said, Liam Robbo could be in a great position to take his first ever TGP1 win. What a final race that would be if he ended up the race winner. This is absolutely brilliant. But you have to say, Austria is certainly easier to overtake than Silverstone. You've got 3 long straights, one after the other, and Softy's rampage on Corey tonight surely will finally bear fruit.
Softy looking for the inside into turn 1. This is the closest he's been. He's going to go down the inside. Brakes later. Can he get the brakes just enough? Because Corey's going to come straight back at him. The two of them are going to go side by side. We've seen these two make contact twice already this season. Will it be a third time? Things do seem to come in threes, but Softy for now keeps position, keeps P1 and defends from Corey.
Yeah, Corey not going to let this one go lightly. Oh, he gets all squirrely on the exit, and that's not what he wanted. And he's going to have to spend the lap staring at the back of that AlphaTauri driver. Meanwhile, further back, Aidan Griffiths finds himself in P8. So at the moment, it's not all doom and gloom for Racing Point, because Jack Hickey finds himself down in P15, Dom. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Jack Hickey's not going to score points, neither is Owen, so it is going to be between Softy and Aidan. Remember, Softy needs to outscore Aidan by 24, and at the moment, he's scoring 25 to Aidan's 4, so the gap would be 3 points in the favour of Racing Point at the moment, but Aidan could be helped by Corey getting through on Softy. Is he now just going to drop back because he doesn't have a lot of ERS left? The tyre life seems to be going, of course, a lap older than when Softy pitted, so what can Corey do to come back at the soft cop? And Liam Robbo crucially now outside the 3 second gap he needs to be. He's losing too much time behind the McLaren of Ginger Andy.
Yeah, you have to remember now though, Corey with 3 back-to-back DRS zones. You have to, you're right if he said not got. Oh, he's barely got any battery left at all. Softy's been managing his battery very well, but on this lap, Softy seems to be safe from the challenge from behind. Liam Robbo, meanwhile, doesn't fancy staring at the back of the Phil and Andy battle any longer. They've both gone wide, and that gives Robbo a perfect invitation, which he very kindly accepted.
Glorious stuff there for Liam Robbo. He would have been rubbing his hands together. Can he get his first ever win in the TGP Series? He is 4.2 adrift to Softy. He needs to be within 3 seconds, and he will take the victory. The gap's coming down already. It's down at 4.1, and there's still 5 more laps in this race. It's all to play for, Mike.
Dom, look at this. We got caught putting Andy under pressure, and then he'll be on the back of Phil. We could have both Hasses inside the top 4. I can't remember when that last happened in TGP1, but they've got a great opportunity tonight to take some great points. Caught all over the back of Andy. He's swishing and swashing all over the back of that McLaren. He could basically paint it. Is he going to try and move into the last corner? He thinks better of it as Andy picks up another penalty on his ruined tyres.
Looks like Court's going to go through. He's going to take the position very easy for him. Andy's line into the last corner was not great, but Paul, fellow Scot of Andy, is going to be right there with him now. Phil Bargell, of course, carrying little damage from the incident earlier on with Corey when he clipped the back of him. Alistair takes the fastest. That could be a crucial point for Renault. But Liam Robbo has actually just dropped 8 tenths to Softy, so maybe Softy has been hiding a bit of pace and is now starting to pull clear to make sure he claims this race victory.
You say that, the gap is only 2 tenths. Corey, I thought he was about to try one down the inside into turn number 4 there, but thought better of it. Liam Robbo is slowly taking himself out of this race, just hasn't quite got the pace of the top 2 at the moment. Caught now all over the back of Phil Bardwell. We've got 4.5 laps left of this race, and it could go any which way. Phil really struggling with that damage to the front wing. Caught, I don't think he knows it. He's just got to bide his time. But look, he's got Paul McGuinness all over the back of him.
So many battles at the moment, isn't it? It's fantastic to watch. I thought maybe with the title decided there'd be nothing to fight for in this final week, but the drivers are giving everything to get their final positions on the season to end it on a high. Look at this battle between Phil, Court and Paul for 4th, 5th and 6th. I think Andy finally dives into the pit lane for a fresh set of softs. Can Court get Phil Bargell for P4? This would be some results that has won it. 3rd and 4th at the moment. In fact, Phil's got a time penalty anyway, so Court is looking pretty good to take P4.
I know what it would need is perhaps a penalty for the top 2, and Haas could end up with a double podium. What a result that would be.
That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? As Court goes round the outside of the Ferrari driver, Phil will brake later, you suspect. Maybe try and push the Haas driver off the road, try and keep his line as we saw Leclerc and Verstappen did a couple of years ago, but they're going side by side.
Yeah, and we're watching it from Paul's perspective. Court just about got a nose ahead of Phil. Phil's going to hold it in the braking zone. He's really struggling with that damage, but in the end, he has to concede P4 to Court, and the charging Hasses find themselves in P3 and P4 on the road now.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Can Paul get through on Phil Bargell? They're going to go side by side. They've got to be very careful. They don't bang wheels. Phil almost backs out of it. Gives Paul the move. And Paul in an incredible 5th place, but he's got the Ferrari attacking right behind him as Corey picks up a second time penalty.
Corey's got a penalty. This is almost guaranteed Softy the win. Aidan Griffiths is in P7, so the constructors at the moment will not swing out for Tarry's way, but a double podium might well spring Haas's way.
Yeah, now Corey knows he can just go for it. When he just go for a move on Softy, he's got the time penalty. He's got to do something if he wants to win this race. He needs to try and force Softy into making a similar mistake. He bangs the back of him. He's got to be so careful because it could easily go all wrong. He could find himself down in 5th or 6th or a spin, even worse. But for now, look how much quicker he is than Softy.
Yep, Softy perhaps just managing his car. He's up to 40% ERS deployment. I feel like we've spoken about these two so much tonight. It feels like we're just covering those two. There's so many other battles going on the track at the moment, but it's so privileged to see a battle for the lead. I can't see if Corey's got damage to his front wing or not. He might have a little bit of damage, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him too much at the moment, Dom.
Yeah, it's nothing major. I think he'll be fine with that. Maybe he'll lose like half a tenth a lap, nothing more. He's sticking with Softy despite the much less battery usage in his tank. And look how close he is to the AlphaTauri. The gap remains at 4 tenths. The DRS, the slipstream, keeping him within distance of this 5-time champion. He's not going to be close enough into turn 1 as Phil gets another 3-second time penalty. He's going to drop down a few places, I suspect, at the end of this race as Paul continues to attack Court, but Corey continues to attack Softy for the net P1.
Yep, here we go on the long run up to turn number 3. Just not quite close enough. And Softy's gone a bit deep. This could be the opportunity that Corey's been waiting for. Slams on the DRS. Slams on the overtake button. Are we going to see a move for the lead into turn number 4? Softy's going to have to go defensive. But Corey's just not quite in the position to pounce.
Softy keeps locking up as Andy's out of this race, the 3rd driver to retire. Corey continuing to harass Softy. He just can't find a way through. There's going to be one more lap to go. This race has flew by, but Softy for now holding on. And Liam Robbo, crucially, 5 seconds adrift to Corey, so would take P2 as things stand.
You have to think now, surely the message over the blower to Corey right now is the last lap. It's all or nothing, and that will surely be Corey's attitude. What has he got to lose? At the moment, he's going to be P3. He's going to be behind the Haas, but there, in front of him, is a race win on the road. Surely we're going to see a move into turn 3. Softy's got a little bit wide. He's got a little bit squirrely. This could be it. Corey slams on the DRS. We've got a slow McLaren in front of him. Are we going to see a change for the race lead on the final lap? Corey's going to have to go the long way. Softy, late on the brakes, just about gets it stopped. But Corey, he's slung one up the inside. They're going to be side by side on the run down to turn number 4. And they're giving everything they can. And Corey's got the move done.
Yeah, Softy knows he doesn't necessarily have to come back at him. He might try it. He locks up. He's got to be careful not to pick up a time penalty because that would hand Liam Robbo the victory. Softy knows that for now, he will take first position. He will take the 25 points and the top step of the podium. The 13th win of the season. He's just got to get through these final couple of corners and not pick up a time penalty. But Corey can now try to pull the 8 he needs to get Liam Robbo for second.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Corey to hold on to P3, but it's looking good for his position on the track. He will round the last corner, at least on the track, as our race winner, but it is going to be Softy who picks up the title. I'd say the title, he picked that up ages ago, but he picks up the race win in Spielberg, and Liam Robbo does just about take P2 by 4/10 of a second, and it is a double top 4 finish for Haas, with Court holding off Paul in the end for P4. The results are coming further back, and Racing Point have won the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, well done, Jack Hickey. I think we'll be relieved of that one. It was a disastrous start for Racing Point. All they needed to do was be in the points and hope Softy didn't win. Softy won, and suddenly Racing Point were at the back of the field, 17th and 18th. However, Aiden, a fantastic recovery. We said he's been inconsistent all season, but that is a result that shows why he has found his team at the top of the Constructors' title. An absolutely deserved championship for Racing Point. Well done to Aiden and Jack Hickey. Thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, well done, the two of them. We said just how impressed we've been with Jack Hickman this season, but you can't take anything away from Aiden as well. He's been a bit inconsistent, but when he's been quick, God, has he been quick. He's had a good season when he's been on form, and obviously Racing Point have clinched that Constructors' Championship trophy. Dom, we've had a fitting last week. CJH picks up the last driver of the day trophy, I guess, achievement, whatever. What a season! What a couple of races we've had as well tonight. What a privilege we've had to be a part of this great season.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it, Mike. Been absolutely brilliant to be alongside you throughout the last 11 weeks. We've seen so much action, haven't we? Even though Softy's cruised to the title, so many battles throughout the field. Great to see the drivers putting on a show, as usual, once again, in our 10th anniversary year. So I'm very much looking forward now to the 3-way title battle we have in TGP2 tomorrow, Mike.
Yep, we might have all been locked down. The championship might have been locked down to Softy, but the racing has been open. The key has been off, and we've been seeing some great battles all through the season. Your confirmed order then for the last round in Austria. Softy takes another race victory, and Liam Robbo joins him on the podium. Corey, he won on the track, but he couldn't hold on to it after the stewards decided that the track extended a little bit too often. Caught with a great 4th place from a P11. What a good result from him. Paul McGuinness in P5 as well. Good race for him. And Aidan Griffins in P6. And then we had Alistair Bain. Aidan Griffins and CJH, Alistair Bain, and then someone else.
But it was Phil 9th and Dan 10th, the two Ferraris.
That was it.
Points at the end.
Brilliant. Well done. At least one of us was paying attention. Dom, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure having you alongside me this year. Just before we sign off, we've been through our surprise driver of the season. We've been through our most improved driver of the season. We've been through our best race of the season. And I think I know what your answer to this is going to be. But who has been your driver of the season?
I think my driver this season has to be Jack Hickey. I think it's very hard to look past Softy, but Jack Hickey has been absolutely exceptional. This is only his 2nd season back in TGP1. Of course, he was in TGP2 in the midfield trying to get those wins just a couple of seasons ago. It's been absolutely brilliant from him. But then at the same time, it's very hard to not give it to Softy. He's now a 5-time champion. Another win for the collection today. I think that's 66 in total for him, just 4 adrift of James's record of 70. So thrilling. So many impressive performances throughout the calendar season. But yeah, I think it's between Softy or Jack Hickey, and I'm going to just give it to the Racing Point driver of Jack Hickey.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think for the if we're going to go down the BBC route, I'll go for Softy in that case. He's just been so often this season untouchable, just head down, knew exactly what he had to do. Qualifying, race, rain or shine, apart from Holland, he was brilliant, and yeah, it's hard to look beyond him as driver of the season. But Jack Hickey, watch out! Remember that name. He's going to be fighting for titles again very, very soon. Well, Dom, thank you so much for joining me in the commentary box this season. Thank you to everyone for watching alongside with us this season. We will see you again later on in the year when we take part in our first season of TGP1 on F1 2021 with a date to be announced. But don't forget, tune in tomorrow for the finale of TGP2. 3 drivers technically could still win the championship, but we could hopefully have a very exciting evening of racing as well. So all that's left to say is thank you very much, and we will see you on PS4. This has been a TGP series production, and we'll see you next season.